I probably went a little bit more complex than needed, but let me try to simplify it. With a bookmaker, you always bet against the bookmaker with the odds that the bookmaker is providing. But versus peer-to-peer, this is not even a controversy. This is a fact. A random engine number generator will protect you from getting into the negatives. I think this industry would not be so popular if they would not be winning, only losing. I would disagree that people only come to sport to make money. People want to have this instant gratification. The sports betting is really towards a more sophisticated players.
Hi everyone, we're here today again with Yevhen Krazhan, Chief Business Development Officer of GR8 Tech, an iGaming platform. I'd like to clarify some things about Sportsbooks. Hi Yevhen.
Hi Alex, nice to see you.
Thank you, nice to see you too. There are so many things, so many misconceptions and prejudices about sportsbooks. People who run gambling operations, they have this ongoing discussion about sportsbooks and casinos, vice versa, which one is better, and can you tell us what's all the fuss about?
Okay. It's indeed an interesting topic to discuss. I'll try to, go as simple as possible, because sportsbook is not something that a lot of people know what it is about. And we, as our strategy, as GR8 Tech long-term strategy, we kind of aspire to become, the best and the simplest sportsbook globally. So I'd be very much happy to try to explain in simple words for dummies how that works and what it is about.
Please do.
So Sportsbook, in essence, is a platform where you can provide a capability to players to make your bets against, one team against the other, or one player against the other player. When event is starting, normally we provide odds that are pre-match. For instance, before the event is taking place, you can already make bets. But this, frankly, is not so popular. The most popular thing is the in-play or the live betting. When the game starts, people are getting excited as they watch the game. They have a capability to make these little bets on some specific outcomes and events, as we call them markets. So the sports betting is in essence about, making bets, real money bets on the, favorite sports. I would say in 80% cases during the events, during the wonderful tournaments like Euro Cups or IPA in India, crickets, or Super Cups, Super Bowls in the US. So this is what sports betting is about. In the sports betting, we see a lot of different sports, kinds of sports that people like. Could be cycling, could be horse racing, could be golf, could be rugby, could be cricket, could be kabaddi. Lots of different sports. And we know that there is a segment of people that love sports and prefer sports to casino, because casino is another very popular sport, betting, I would say, exercise or entertainment game. And casino, contrary to sports, is about more or less, the same kind of slots or the same kind of casino live games such as blackjack or roulettes. But if we're talking about sports, I think sports are very much different from casino is by the fact it's a game of skill. So you have to know what is happening on the field. You have to know the rules. You need to understand who is playing against who and what the chances are for somebody to win or somebody to lose. But as we mentioned, the markets are the different outcomes that you can actually make your bets against. And these markets are actually making your game a little bit more entertaining, because it's not only about the score or who will win or who will lose. It's also about the corners, different offsides if we're talking football. This is about red cards, yellow cards, and a different set of combinations. You can combine different outcomes into one, for instance, multi-bets, or we call them bet builders. And this what makes betting quite a very sophisticated thing. I probably went a little bit more complex than needed, but
So-
let me try to simplify it.
So what I understand, sports betting is when I, as a player, I say that my analytics is so good, I bet my money on it. And I come to you as a bookmaker and you say, no, my analytics is better, so you won't beat me. And that's like a battle of experiences, analytics of people who really love a particular kind of sport. Whereas casino is just a random number generation kind of thing, and so a machine should let me win once every 27 attempts, right? Something like that.
Simply put, very correct. I would 100% agree that this is it. I would just maybe add a few more, things to make it more colorful. With the sports betting, sometimes you bet against the house, such as bookmaker. But there is also quite a trendy topic is to bet against each other, which is called peer-to-peer betting. In some regions, peer-to-peer betting is also getting quite popular, and it seems to be more fair compared to the bookmaker, because, for instance, with the bookmaker, you always bet against the bookmaker with the odds that the bookmaker is providing. But versus peer-to-peer betting, this is where one peer could suggest, the odd to another team or to the other person, individual. And in that sense, it may be perceived as a little bit more fair, as a little bit more kind of just. It's about real people playing against each other, which also is looking like a real game.
I see. And in terms of sports betting as a business, what's the catch here? Because I hear operators are saying that sports betting is like it's either like less profitable or more complicated. Is this true than casino?
Yes, normally this is not even a controversy. This is a fact.
Okay.
Sports betting sometimes could be less marginal than the casino, just because operators are not protected well against their odds, and they would run into the negatives. While in casino, you cannot run into negatives because this randomizer or random engine number generator will protect you from getting into the negatives, because you will have all the sophisticated anti-fraud and risk management provided by game providers. In the sports betting, this is what a provider needs to be doing, such as us, for instance, GR8 Tech. As part of the sports value proposition or the sports betting engine, we also provide the way to actually keep your margin intact. So one of our, unique advantages is that we will guarantee that you will be making somewhere between 5 and 10% of marginality.
5 and 10.
5 and 10%, between 5 and 10. This is our best cases show that you can actually be very profitable with the sports.
That sounds like very good profit margin.
Yes, if we go into the the way the profit is calculated in the iGaming industry, which is the term called GGR. This is the gross gaming revenue. This is still the gross gaming, but already something like an operating profit. So this is the difference between bets and wins. So whatever an operator leaves to itself as more or less money made, money earned, is we call GGR. So in essence, our players, our B2C players, B2C users, are also winning quite a lot. I think this industry would not be so popular if they would not be winning, only losing. So there's a huge misconception that players always lose. Players would win, I would say, in the same or equally the same, number of times than they lose, which makes it, quite a popular, entertainment for people. But I would disagree that people only come to sport to make money. Again, we have different segments of people, that some of them, for instance, only come for big events, and they would bet to support their team. For instance, Romania fans would normally support Romania kind of team. There's another segment where players would feel that they can win a bookmaker. And they're normally experienced. They're very kind of advanced. They know the history. They have been calculating these different odds. They can compare, doing the arbitrage odds as well. They can compare what other operators are providing. And they would try to win a bookmaker. So this is a second, segment. And there are different smaller segments. For instance, when people are just starting, trying, or for instance, they're converting from casino as part of the normal engagement campaigns that any operator is providing. With our platform, we provide that as cross-sell, I would say. So when, for instance, you are too much into casino, we would sometimes engage you into some sports activities. But if you're winning a lot in sports, we will try to keep you in around the casino games. So I would say understanding these segmentations for sports bettors and for sports players is really key for any operator to be successful.
So, until you explain, you already answered my next question. I was gonna ask you, so why bother with Sportsbook if you can just have casino and just like live your happy life and sleep tight at night? Why bother? But you already said, because people get tired of one thing, they need to switch to something else. And if you don't have this option, if you don't have the option of promoting this interconnection between these two genres of entertainment, then they won't naturally switch to sport from casino and to casino from sport. They will just go and look for a different website.
I would agree. If we look at the total number of websites, iGaming websites, I would say that 70% of them will have either limited sports offering or will be just, only casino offering, only slots or maybe live casino. And this is the reason why we chose to become the sportsbook number one globally as our aspiration or corporate strategy, is because that misconception or fear of sportsbook that it will generate losses, or it's too complex, or nobody likes it, or nobody understands it, this is in fact very wrong. I think we need to make the product much more simple, not only for operators, but also for the players. And this is the topic that is probably going to be never ending. If you have ever seen the sports betting website or the sports betting pages, it is really complex. So it is, I think, one of those topics where innovation should really come very soon, so that players would not be so lost into the abundance of different numbers, because sports betting is about math, probabilities, odds, and chances. And we need to find a way to present it in a more kind of easy, one option, one at a time, maybe wizards, maybe some kind of natural flows, so that your sports betting experience is not really to immediately, be confronted with different options and you don't know where to run, what to choose. So it's not really built for sophisticated players, but it's more built for the simple people that would want to enjoy sports rather than get lost.
I see. Yeah, I tried to have a look at the betting interface, and it was frightening at first sight. It was like I have like 50 or 500 different options, and I just want to know, like I was going to bet on my team to win or on the other team to lose, but instead I saw like so many different options. And I'm actually into esports, so I'm speaking about esport event, but even then, like, they have so many options. It's fascinating, actually. It makes it more interesting. Speaking of esport, my favorite topic, is that a thing?
This is a very thing. This is the very popular thing. We have our partnering company, Better, that probably provide 80-90% of all the esports betting data and betting odds and betting, I would say, coefficients. We are very happy to work with them. They are kind of innovative and fast-pacing, developing company. And esports is very popular. It's very popular among, of course, younger generation. This is the sport where it's very fast and it's very dynamic, and this is why I think having esports, we're still able to basically survive and sustain with the younger generation. There are countries where it's very popular, for instance, Latam and Peru as such, where esports are on the rise at all times. And I think people that are computer games addicted, or I would say excited, I think esports battles and esports betting are very closely connected. So going back to this connection between sports, real sports, and sports betting, they historically have been always close. As we remember, I think the whole history of sports betting started in UK, probably 300-400 years ago, with some horse racing, and maybe some golf and other things, and of course football and cricket. So I think the fact that sports exists, and in sport you always want to win. So this is the very natural combination and very natural, I would say, synergy with the sports betting is coming from. Just by the fact that people not only want to win on the playground, they want to win with the screen, or in the stadium, or in the show where they're actually getting part of that excitement.
I never thought of it this way. Like, yeah, I may not be able to play myself, but I still want to win, so I win in a different way.
Exactly. You win as a fan.
Yeah.
You win as also a player. You're not necessarily playing football, but you're playing, making your play or game decisions.
Yeah, that's a fresh way of seeing this. Never thought of it this way. Cool. And going back to our initial topic, sportsbook versus casino. We've discussed why sportsbook is complicated. We've discussed why you should have it. What's so cool about it? And to me, also, in my opinion, it has soul. Casino to me seems like a machine. It's not something humane, but is there any other reason, are there any other differences why you should have both? Maybe one thing I can think of is that machine is better than a human sport is because it's always available.
Yes, and but there are a few no's. As I said, statistically, so the distribution is towards the casino. Every operator will tend to have more turnover and more money towards the casino, just because it's simple. People want to have this instant gratification and instant results. And spin, speed, you make a bet in casino or slots, your result is coming within 3 seconds. So you know whether you won or lost. People don't have the patience to wait. And this is against a little bit of my kind of, psychology. That instant gratification is what I'm trying to kind of battle with my kids. So invest a little bit of your time to understand, how the world operates. Don't rush into actually getting the results as fast as possible. But for most people, I would say it's not a weakness, but it's something that people are struggling with. The same with the sports. That's why, in sports, the in-play betting is more popular, just because it provides this instant gratification. And of course, we cannot go against, as we say, odds of people liking something very simple and something very fast. But in sports, luckily, we have these in-play markets that provide immediate gratification, instant gratification, and people getting excited. And we are keeping that excitement very active. You can make your bets when the game is active. And I think whatever we are offering with our platform is quite unique, because our in-play time that we offer for our players and for our operators is the longest. And this is where I think the difference between casino and sports is coming into play, is that with the sports, you are actually providing the real experience. The game is on, you cannot really control. We're trying with our risk management and anti-fraud tool to avoid those fixed matches where there is an agreement beforehand, which we all hate. But the real games where you cannot really, have any suspicions that there is a fixed kind of or set up match, I think this is where, the drama of sports, the unexpected, outcomes, this is what people are getting excited about. And I think having these in-play capabilities, or some things that I was sharing before, like watch and bet capability, like you watch your game, any outcome can be, any second, but you don't know what it's going to be. But at the same time, system is offering you something as a proposition, something, a recommendation, just like Netflix. We know that you like, for instance, to bet on corners. Why don't you bet on corner? Because it's approaching, for instance, the corner zone. And within the next kind of few, maybe seconds, there will be some additional corners. So the sports betting is really towards more sophisticated players. It's more about, players that know a little bit about sports. You cannot come and enjoy a sport that you don't understand. For instance, you come to a baseball game and you have to sit there, or cricket. Cricket games could be 12 hours, could be 24 hours. You cannot enjoy it if you don't know the rules. So I would say sport is so much different from casino that it attracts its specific audience. What we are trying to do is to make sports simple, more accessible for wider audience. And this is a long-term aspiration of our company.
Thank you so much. This is
Nothing to say.
I have nothing to say and nothing more to ask. I mean, everything that I wanted to ask you, you answered it already far before I wanted to ask it. So thank you so much for it. Guys, everyone watching this, I really suggest you speak to Yevhen. I bet you people understand what we're talking about much better than I do. And you may have some real sophisticated questions. I suggest you speak to him directly. Eugene, thank you so much for this.
You're welcome, guys. There is definitely a lot more, but we just don't want to overwhelm you with different details. But if you come to us, if you have any specific topics to discuss, we have an upcoming conference in Malta. Please attend, join us, and we'll have wonderful time, and we'll make it very simple for you.